Hey guys, welcome to Frasier Friday on Dan Reviews It. Special guest Merlin here.
Hey.
I don't know if you're even a special guest anymore because you're on all the Frasier Fridays.
All right, I don't think special guest.
Guest to the channel, but not a guest to Frasier Fridays. You're a regular.
I'm a recurring guest.
Yeah.
I'm not a main cast member, but
yeah,
I'm
but
a recurring guest.
I shouldn't call you special guest though.
I mean, I guess it would be. It's special the less frequent it is, ironically.
Yeah.
So does that mean that I'm less special of a guest?
Well, you're in my heart. You're a special guest.
But a recurring guest.
Boy, this went off the rails immediately.
Well, that's how it goes. Well, actually, let me ask you, Dan. Let me ask you, because I have thought about this too.
Okay.
Recurring guest, or am I just a co-host for this particular segment?
I guess that's what it is. I think for the Disney, since you're not going to be doing all the Disney movies with me, that would be more of a special guest or recurring guest.
But I'm going to be in all these.
You're literally the co-host of the Frasier Friday show.
Okay, I accept that.
So you're right.
I accept
that's my mistake, I guess.
Host, co-host.
Host and co-host. We got that out of the way.
Third season and we got that down.
So this is a new venue for us here.
Temporarily.
Temporarily. I have a guest downstairs in the basement, so we're recording up here tonight. And probably for the next few shows, perhaps.
Cool with me.
But this is nice.
Comfortable.
My living room is my nice purple couch. The cat's over here. You can't see him, but he may make an appearance. Who knows? But we're here to talk about Frasier.
We are.
Not locations, not host.
Minutia.
Minutia. Good word. We're here to talk about Season 3 of Frasier, and so we're continuing on with the saga. So we're going to do the first half of the season. We split the seasons into 2 episodes, so we'll do the first half here, and then the second half, and sort of a season overview in the second, part 2 of it, as it were.
That sounds about right to me.
So as we do, we'll go over the episodes one by one. I'll give sort of, the grade, and then you give your thoughts on said grade.
Yes. I react to it.
Sometimes you agree, sometimes you don't agree.
Occasionally.
I will tell you, this season has the lowest score yet on a Frasier. One episode has a C+.
Oh.
Not sure if it's in the first half or the second half.
We'll get to it. I will say there were a couple episodes I didn't think were as funny this time.
Yeah.
So I think I know where you're coming from.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
And there's a recurring character in this season I didn't quite fall in love with either, and we'll talk about her in the first half of the season. I don't even think she's in the second half, but that's Mercedes Rule as the boss. Which we meet in the very first episode, so we can talk about that.
Oh, I liked her, though. I liked her.
I was okay with her.
I liked her. I liked that
But I
subplot,
feel like
actually.
it came and went too quickly. I feel like...
I don't like the way it resolved.
I don't like the way it resolved.
I actually didn't like
I don't even really like the way it started. It just started so fast.
You know what? Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but
we are actually getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
I do like that subplot, but I agree with you. Kind of felt
I think that's what I didn't like about it. It was
out of nowhere,
way too fast, out of nowhere.
It's like they decided
they ended immediately.
They couldn't commit to that. Like maybe the actress couldn't do it for long enough. Like
it's hard to say. Or maybe
I liked her though.
Maybe
I liked her.
Maybe she wasn't received well by the fans. I don't really know.
Possibly.
But okay, so we're talking about episode 1 here of the season, which is She's the Boss. And I mean, I liked this one. I gave it a B+. So I liked her entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, in this episode, we meet her. She's got a reputation for, being kind of a ball buster, firing people at the ready. So, Frasier kind of wants to stand his ground with her and say, I'm not gonna, kowtow to her. I'm gonna do my show, my way. They get into a debate about classical music where she proves him wrong at every turn, which obviously infuriates him. So she tries to get him to, make his show a little more racy, do some theme shows about sex and that kind of thing. So I think that's pretty funny. I mean, I think her entrance episode is funny.
I agree. I liked her. I thought she kind of mixed it up. She definitely is a lot more memorable than the last manager of the station.
He was only in 2 episodes. A very memorable episode with the gay character.
His episode, and then the one brief cameo with the agent.
But here we see her for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely more memorable. I like that we split our time at this point pretty evenly between the station and home, but it's not just the radio show. Like the first season, maybe even 2, is a lot of like, it's probably about split even, but the radio station stuff is almost exclusively his show. Now that we know Bulldog pretty well, now that we know Noel pretty well, you know,
we get snippets.
We get snippets, and we get them doing things outside of work too, which I kind of like. So so I like that one.
I agree.
So Shrink Rap is next. I gave this one an A. I really liked this one. Let's see what happens in it. It's another Crane versus Crane kind of thing.
Those are always good.
Here. So Frasier is telling how there's a recurring dream on his air, but he what is this? Oh, Niles is having problems in his office, so they're sort of dovetailing with their professionalism here. And so he proposes that let's have them work together in the same building and in the same sessions even.
Yes.
And I know you always like it when Frasier and Niles butt heads, have a sibling rivalry kind of thing.
Oh, I think those episodes are some of the best.
And it's early in the season to do
I
one of these episodes.
Yeah.
But yes, it's very funny. I like when they try to one up each other. Okay, so next up is Martin Does It His Way. This is where he sings, they find a song of his that he wrote for Frank Sinatra.
Oh yeah.
So it's all based on this Aunt Louise eulogy that Frasier has to give.
It goes ba ba ba.
Which is pretty funny, the eulogy scene. And yes, the song where he's like writing the lyrics. You make my heart go Scooby Dooby.
Scooby Doo ba ba da.
And listen, we've talked about the virtues of Martin Crane here.
Yes, Martin.
But this episode, he really just goes for this corny kind of humor, and it works so well. And here they're working together. Him and Frasier and Niles are all trying to kind of
work together
to get a melody for the music. Because he's got the melody in his head, and so he's trying to explain to Frasier how it goes. So I like that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one.
I actually, I only gave it a B because they did actually something similar on Roseanne where John Goodman writes a country song for some radio contest.
Oh.
So I don't know. It was a little similar, but I liked what they did with it. Just not quite that original for me. All right, so A- for the next one, which is Leapin' Lizards. And this one is the first of the radio hosts pranking Frasier. We see this later on in the series with the morning show. Calling up and pranking him. But this was where Bulldog targets a series of pranks of Frasier, and then he tries to get back at him.
That one was good. It backfires.
It backfires. And the station manager's in this one, too, as the prank Frasier pulls on him
accidentally
is like the snake in the box or whatever instead of the raffle tickets. And she's the one that pulls it out.
And who's the one that did it?
So I thought that was funny.
That was great.
So next up is Kisses Sweeter Than Wine. This is one of their wine club episodes.
Of course.
This is where there's a special wine tasting. Niles and Frasier are trying to deal with the chair because they're going to have a wine tasting at the house. And so they're trying to move Martin's chair. So they have the handyman come and try and fix it, and then it can't really be done. So then the fix-it guys are there all day, overstaying their welcome.
They keep
adding on different things.
And they keep tearing down more stuff. It's it's going to be done sooner. It's absolutely just the tie up the whole apartment.
And he ends up paying them a bunch of money to finish it before so long.
And they managed to.
They did it. Once they got the money out of the way.
Oh, all of a sudden they got all done.
So that one was okay. I gave that one a B. So up next, this is where we really start getting into the Kate episodes, which is the new manager. This is Sleeping with the Enemy. Now, Noel has a James Kirk quote in this one. I always mark whenever there's a Star Trek reference. Noel quotes James Kirk about the needs of the many versus the needs of the few to Roz.
To get them to all come together to unionize about the pay for the workers.
You remember that?
That was good, and he like almost passed out or something.
Yes. So yeah, this is basically, like you said, it's sort of a salary negotiation time, contract negotiations. Kate doesn't want to give them the 5% annual raise. So here we have sort of a standoff between her and Frasier again in the office, and it turns into making love in the office. And two-parter, really.
Yeah.
This is part one of it. I don't know if there's an actual to be continued, but it dovetails with the second episode. This is a lot like the classic, and I know they did this on purpose, but the Cheers, Sam and Diane, when they're fighting behind or in the office, and they're hitting each other, and are you as turned on as I am? More, and then they start making out. I mean, this is almost exactly what happens here in Frasier. So, obviously they're sort of giving a nod to Cheers.
Okay.
But
not quite the same level of...
I would say not quite the same, no. And it's been done, obviously.
Yeah.
But this is like wink and a nod, like, yes, we know we already did this, but here you go. I thought part one was good. I gave that a B+. I thought it was better than part two, which I gave a B-. That's Adventures of Bad Boy and Dirty Girl. This is when they're on the radio, or, he tells Roz to leave because they're filling in for the happy chef, so Roz, has to be there when she isn't supposed to be, and so Kate comes in and thinks, hey, Frasier, we should kind of slow things down a little bit. And then they end up having sex while the microphones are on. Everybody, in Seattle hears it, obviously.
Who is
and then it's a mystery because they don't know it's Kate. They don't know it's the station boss.
And then he has to end up getting put on suspension by her.
She
how it look
to keep up appearances. Yes. So what do you think of this one? So of the two parts, I liked this one less. I think you liked it more.
Yeah, tell me why you lowered it. I thought this was pretty funny. I did. I think the B- seems a little low for me.
Maybe. I thought it was okay. It all was so fast. It was like, at the end of part one, they're having sex in the office, and then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, we should slow down. No, let's not slow down. Let's do this. And then it happens on the air. It's like, I don't know. I like to be teased a little bit with, a couple of episodes of, hey, we're kind of attracted, and will they, won't they. I don't need it drawn out for years like on some shows, but I don't know. Give me a little bit of build-up. I don't even know this Kate character, really.
That's true.
I guess he doesn't either, which we find out.
Yeah.
But
I guess... I guess it's one of those things where it definitely could have been written a little bit better, but I guess the way they tried to excuse that was that they didn't really have much in common, which you might find a little bit out later.
Right.
And so it was just kind of like this sort
kind
of
slapdash.
Tension, kind of the hateful love-making thing.
There's
like I said, it's a sexual frustration, passion, but that's it.
Right.
And so that might be why it's spur of the moment, why it's not really a relationship, so... I don't know. It's kind of weird because I feel like with the character, I kind of like the character in that dynamic, so I think maybe they could have had more there. But I guess they just decided not to go that route.
Well, and I also feel like, and they go back to this, a couple of times with Frasier. The Felicity Huffman arc in, I think it's like season 9 or something, comes to mind as well. But, Frasier's all about his ethics.
Yeah.
And he's all about... and granted, it's probably more with his listeners and his patients than anything else, but still, having sex with your boss in the studio seems...
That doesn't seem like him.
...to not gel with the character for me.
No, you're right, because there will be other instances where he's always like, is this morally right? We've seen that before in some earlier seasons, so...
And it is always with his patients. It's not like she's a patient, but she's his boss. I mean...
I like once again. I think the only reason that kind of is excusable is because it was like a passionate thing.
Yes, clearly he was in the zone.
And Frasier makes mistakes. Obviously, he's not perfect,
true.
even against his best judgment. So
that is true.
You're right. It's not really the most in with how the character is, they could have probably played with that better.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was excusable. It was funny enough that I let it go.
That you let it slide.
I let it slide, I guess.
That's fair. All right, so up next is The Last Time I Saw Maris. There's a brief interaction with Nolan in this one as well. He tries to get a new character on Star Trek based on Roz. He writes to them. Do you remember that?
I do remember. That was cute.
So, in this episode, Maris has been missing for a few days. And so Niles is convinced that maybe she's been kidnapped and all of this. And then we realize that she's actually just in New York on a shopping trip. And
Frasier's like, you should talk to her about that.
Yep, they try to work it out, and rather than apologizing, Maris wants a divorce instead.
So Frasier's
throws Niles out.
Yeah.
Yes,
Again.
He feels responsible, so
tries to go to her.
So eventually she agrees to take him back, but he has to apologize, and he just doesn't know. He doesn't know what to do. So yeah, I like this one. I gave this one an A-, I believe.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, thus far, Maris has been one of these characters that is never seen or heard.
It's an interesting. Is there a term for that in comedy? That type of character? Because it's a very interesting form of writing.
That's a good question.
Because I think that's one of the things that's very unique, and I don't know.
I've always referred to it as an absent character.
Yes, like we know so much about her, even though we don't ever.
And they employed the same on Cheers with Norm's wife Vera. Now we did see her a couple of times, and I believe we heard her twice, but never saw her. And then later on, an example would be Will and Grace. They do that with Karen's husband, where it's like each episode they kind of like they do with Maris here. Each episode they describe him, as something more and more outlandish or crazy or whatever. And they didn't actually set out to employ that technique on Frasier.
Really?
They didn't really want to do like a repeat of the Vera character. But what happened was, as they wrote the first handful of episodes, they realized that things they were describing, they would never be able to cast a person that would fit all of these things.
Yeah, because she's like so skinny she'd float away.
Right. So they just decided to kind of keep her a mystery,
imagination,
and never be seen.
Which almost would like spoil it at this point. The vision of how ridiculous and difficult Maris is.
Yeah. So I think up until this point, all we really knew about her was her eccentricities and her bizarre behavior and her appearance. But I feel like the reason I like this one so much is because it actually gave her more of a personality. Even though we didn't see her or hear her,
that's true.
She was an integral plot point, and we sort of, it was more than just, she's a punchline. Here she's got something going on, feelings and actions. Yeah.
You always believe that she's there, that she is a character.
Right.
That there is something about the performances of everyone else, how much energy they put into that. They really sell it. They sell Maris.
For sure.
They do.
For sure. So I was glad that this whole season actually, she gets sort of an arc. But you're right. Like, for somebody that we've never heard or seen, we can all sort of picture her.
Yeah, we have an idea.
And I think we know about as much about her character as we do some of the others. Maybe not the main characters, but I mean, we know about her a lot, like maybe some of the people from the station or
like
what
some
have
of the
you.
background characters we know more about her, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I liked that one. So the one after that is Frasier Grinch. Every year they do, the Christmas episode. This one is Christmas Eve. And Frasier is finally going to see Fredrik for the first time since he moved out to Seattle. Because we remember, I think it was in season 2, he went away on a trip to Sound of Music land, in Austria and stuff. He doesn't know what to buy him. He thinks that he wants, one thing, but he does not. So he so he received one of Franklin Crane's presents instead through the mail, which is the Barbie doll and kitchen set. But Frasier wants to get him educational gifts, and Martin's like, no, you can't do that. Yes, I forget what the
it's like a super killer
commando
thing.
Right.
Give him that.
But so I liked this one a lot. I mean, I think It's nice to see Fredrik. Now he's not the kid that plays in the rest of the series. This is another kid, but I give this one a B plus. I mean, I think I love that they're not sort of shunning the Fredrik character from the series. I think it's good to see every so often Frasier is seeing him and trying to be involved in his life and all this. But I think it's great the dynamic that he thinks, even though he doesn't know his son at all, I mean, he's spent so little time with him since he was a baby, Martin is like, well, you always get presents that you want, Frasier, why don't you try and figure out what he wants?
Good advice.
It's good advice, and that's, a lot of what makes Martin such a great character is that he gives this great advice with obviously no medical training or whatever.
No.
And Frasier is the recipient, and he's the one who should be doling out the advice.
It's true.
But yeah, I mean it's so simple, that Martin's just like, well, because it's Frasier doesn't get parenting.
No, no, that's actually something he needs to work at.
Right. And, I mean, not that I guess Martin was a great dad to them, but I think he was a loving dad.
He was, and I think that Martin kind of learns from maybe things he didn't do as well.
Yeah, I would say that, and wanting them not to make maybe the same mistakes that he did.
Perhaps.
So, yeah, I liked that one. Next one is okay. It's called It's So Hard to Say Goodbye If You Won't Leave. And this is where...
You're right, that was over pretty fast.
It was over fast. This is the end of the Kate arc. So she's done already. Yeah, basically they end up going to an airport together and trying to sort of figure out, like, oh, I'll come visit you, or, you can come visit me. And then the more they talk, as they're, stuck waiting for the airplane, they realize the less they have in common, the less there really is to their relationship other than the sex. But yeah, that's it. I mean, we ended already. We're not even halfway through the season.
See, I have mixed feelings about that. Because,
yeah, tell me.
I think...
Because you love the Kate character.
I do like the Kate character.
I like her. She's all right.
And I feel like that sort of thing seems like it could be very realistic. Mm-hmm. In a way, like the comedy there of if she had just left, the parting such sweet sorrow thing, and then it just doesn't actually work out. Like the storybook ending to that doesn't keep happening. And so there's something kind of funny about it, but it was also a little annoying.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was kind of annoying. By the end, I'm like, well, it feels like we had potential for something fun here, something interesting, and it's just like, now it's squandered that.
And keep in mind, too, she isn't in all these episodes. I mean, she's a main plot point in about 4 of these episodes that we've talked about, but she's maybe in a scene here or there between them. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of these episodes she's not even in. So it's like it just felt so
it's
rushed.
Not much of a bite to the end of it. Like it may be funnier or harder to watch if we cared more. Yeah. But it's like you're right. There wasn't enough time really developed it. Yeah. 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 I don't know if I really liked that one. I like the idea, but I think if there was enough beforehand to build it up, it might have been better.
Well, and you mentioned at the beginning of the show here that you just didn't like the way it resolved either.
I didn't. I think it could have been. I mean, I think it definitely could have been. It could have been better. There could have been more opportunities for them to try and maybe hide their relationship, have some fun there, try to make it work, and over time, maybe they would find that they don't have much in common, but still be drawing each other. And there's a lot of things they could have done with
yes. And I think, each show has sort of a different interpretation of how they want to deal with relationships. Like, take Seinfeld, Jerry had a different girlfriend every episode, so it's like, they were always kind of like fly-by-night kind of relationships. And to a degree, you saw a lot of that on Friends as well. But, here it's like Frasier really wants to, try and get a committed relationship, and he dates here and there. There's a lot of episodes where there is just, one girlfriend or one date or whatever. But, for somebody where they're trying to make a character out of and make a sort of an arc, it's
not enough.
It was like a blink of an eye, came and went. Especially for us watching it, more of in a binge fashion for this show.
Yeah, that's true.
So that one was okay. All right, so The Friend is next. I like this one. I gave it an A- apparently.
Friend.
What is this about?
Friend.
I know. See, I watched these a few weeks ago, so I have to read some of the descriptions. Okay. Oh, this is one. Niles has tickets for the weekend at the racetrack, and Frasier has no desire really to go, and then realizes he doesn't have any friends.
Oh.
So he says on the air like, "Hey," and so this is the gentleman in the wheelchair. Oh my God. You know what? I think A- actually is too low for this one. This is a really good episode. I'm giving this an A.
Episode's messed up.
This is such a good episode. It really speaks.
That's realistic.
Yeah, I was going to say
we've all been there.
It speaks to a really true. Well, the basic plot is this guy's in a wheelchair, and he's dreadfully boring. But Frasier doesn't want to. He's super into barbecue, mesquite.
He
and
doesn't.
Frasier pretends like he's into it. And then he gets in the golfer's cap or whatever.
Oh, and then he's like...
He's a nice guy, but, he has nothing in common with Frasier. Frasier finds him boring.
But how he tries to get out of it is the best part, because it just backfires.
It is such a great ending scene at the coffee shop. But yeah, he doesn't want to hurt his feelings, and he doesn't want him to think that it's because of the wheelchair, whatever. So...
It is like...
But you're right.
I wish you just said it was...
I wish it was the chair, because that's not something I could change, whatever.
And then everyone hates.
Oh my God. So, Frasier tries to backpedal, and...
it's classic.
And you're right, it is very realistic. I think we've all kind of been there in terms of, like, maybe try to let go of a friend, but you don't know necessarily how to do that. Mm-hmm. And it's, and especially, he made this friend on the air. So it's,
this is like a public zone thing.
Super delicate. Yeah. So it is a very funny one.
That's a good one.
That has to be bumped up to an
A.
All right. So next is Come Lie With Me. And this is where we're going to end, because this is episode 12 of the season.
All right.
Right before we get to the C+. So we'll talk about that next time.
Watch next episode.
But Come Lie With Me. So this is... this is Daphne and Joe. This is where Frasier is uncomfortable with her bringing a guy home and spending the night there and having sex with him while they're in the house, whatever. I thought it was interesting, because there really are, Frasier's so fastidious about the rules of the house, but he never really goes over them. So it's like Daphne didn't even give it a second thought. She was like, well, it's my room, like, I live here. Yeah. Of course I can have a guy over. And to Frasier, this was just like...
Whoa!
Yeah, like blasphemy, like, what are you doing? I thought that was interesting, because it's not something that gets discussed much on the show, like Daphne's... Personal space. We had the great episode in season 2 with her room.
That was really good.
Which was very... Yeah, I like when they explore...
The dynamic of the
dynamic.
House.
Yeah, because... Well, and the dynamic of Daphne specifically living at the house.
Yeah.
Because she is their, she's Martin's live-in caretaker, but she's also obviously a friend and part of the family.
She is part of the family, and that's why it's like when she reacts like, okay, well then I'll just find my own place, and Frasier's like, well, I don't really want that though.
Right.
I don't want you to leave.
Yeah.
So.
And she was actually like fine with it. She was like, okay, so that's fine. I'll just find my own place.
Like, not angry about
everything, Yeah, but
it's like, oh wait, crap.
And of course. To Martin, it was like,
whoa,
you better get her back.
You better get her back here.
Same thing as when they went in her room. I thought that was good. Would I give that a B+, maybe? Yeah, it was a B+.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I think so as well. So far, good season.
Pretty solid season.
Pretty good season. We've already wrapped up the Kate stuff.
that plot
arc was done.
Wow. It's fast.
But we're just scratching the surface, really, with the Maris stuff.
Yes, because that...
And her and Niles' divorce and separation. Yeah.
That's big.
So we'll talk about that more in the next episode. Any other thoughts on the first half here of season 3?
Honestly, it's pretty good. I do think you're right. I like the Kate stuff, but I didn't realize how little of it there really was.
So fast.
That's a shame, because that could have been a much bigger season long.
I agree. Like you said, they could have had so many episodes of like them hiding it from people, especially hiding it from Roz, done more maybe with the whole having to, put him on suspension for a week, that kind of thing. Yeah. I feel like maybe it was a little bit rushed.
Perhaps.
A lot rushed, really. All right, so we'll be back with another Frasier Friday. We'll take care of the second half of the season next time. Lots of new things up on your channel. We've seen a lot of movie reviews. Now that it's summer, we're into the Merlin. Hot summer movies.
It's funny you say that because there are some movie reviews up. I was hitting quite a few there. Like you could check out the Spider-Man one still up there. Did you see that?
I didn't. No.
Spider-Man was very good. Check out the review.
I just saw Dark Phoenix though.
I didn't see that.
Oh, you did not. Okay.
I did not see Dark Phoenix.
Yeah,
I still need to
I'm surprised by that. You're such an X-Men fan.
I am, but nobody was interested in seeing
even Apocalypse. The guy likes Apocalypse.
I did.
Everybody.
I want to apologize. Then I probably like Dark Phoenix.
Probably.
Because,
I think it's better than Apocalypse.
Did you think it was a good ending to the franchise? Did it feel definitive in any way? Did they try to make it?
No, that was Logan.
It was. But there's that.
But I thought it was more interesting than Apocalypse. I was more entertained by Dark Phoenix anyway.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But you got Spider-Man up, you got Wick up.
Wick was up. So there's another one. I think the weird thing is, though, because they've been loading up Godzilla, because they've been loading up all the summer movies, honestly, I'm done.
Yeah,
mostly, I think
that's about it.
I might see the new Tarantino and maybe talk about that.
Once Upon a Time. Yeah, that'll be good. Probably.
For me though, I think that's it for the summer.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to watch Lion King.
I mean,
you're not going to rush out to see it.
Like, I'll see it eventually, but I'm still behind on
Angry Birds 2. I mean, this is not in your wheelhouse.
I kind of liked the first Angry
No,
Birds.
you didn't. Stop
I know. I'm one of the few, but I was okay. Who was Sudeikis? Who was the?
Yes, Sudeikis. I like him. Danny McBride was in it. Who is okay.
It was. You know what? Look, that was an example. No attachment to Angry Birds. Zero expectations.
That's true, I guess. You have no expectations.
I thought it was okay.
All right.
I thought it was like Lone Ranger, man. I was like, I love it. I love it. I don't get it. Everyone's like,
I was just discussing your love for Lone Ranger the other day.
You guys, you and Justin were like, this movie sucks.
But I saw it the second time. Remember for Disney
for the new one. But I remember 2013. I was late at night. Last thing, I went to the theater by myself. I'm like,
Lone Ranger.
I'm like, this isn't that bad.
Apocalypse, Lone Ranger. He's into it all.
Sometimes I don't get it either. So it's like I don't think it's that
bad. But anyway, if you're interested in these kind of musings.
There's a lot of over there.
Always check out the Merlin cast. Always good stuff. But as for me and the Frasier Fridays, we'll see you back here next time. Bye.